The best in poker news, entertainment, and more. This is the Mark Hoke Show.
All right, everybody, how we doing today? Live here at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. Oh, I am caught in a EPT menage a trois, apparently.
We normally charge
It is.
for that.
It is. Well, you know, Stapes owes me from that time in L.A.
That time in LA.
Yeah.
Already we're on to our first anecdote of the day. What was that time in LA?
I really don't know what Mark's talking about. I'm not sure my cans are working, by the way, or this microphone. I'm not sure what Mark's talking about. Here's what I love about Mark Hoke, though. Mark Hoke, the little radio show that could, the Mark Hoke Show, used to beg me to come on his show. This year, I see him, I'm like, hey, where's my invite? I had to beg him to be on his show. He's so big now, I had to ask him if I could be a guest on the show.
Yep, and you know, of course, for some reason, this mic was working. It was great, and I'm gonna pop it here real fast because I tested this before the show. I swear to God. Let's see if it's working now. Hello. There we go. Oh, you didn't turn it on yet, bozos.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, well, on it helps.
So I'm not telling that anecdote again. That's it. The moment's passed.
I can give the abridged version.
Go ahead.
That he's now bigger than you.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
That is so not true.
Cliffs.
That is so not true. We all know this.
Saved you a click.
Oh, my God. This is going to be an entertaining morning here. I don't know if I was quite caffeinated enough for this, but, of course, James Harding and Joe Stapleton here from the EPT team. Welcome to America.
Yes, you thought this was the Mark Hoke Show, but it's not. It's going to be the Stapes and Hardigan Show for the rest of this hour. Hope you didn't have an agenda because we have a lot to talk about.
You know what? I'm slightly offended that you couldn't have at least said Hoke and Stapes.
Nope.
Hoke, Stapes, Hardigan, you know, because you know I've had wet dreams about it being the Hoke and Stapes show. No offense.
That's fine. I don't need to be the subject of anyone's wet dream.
It's actually it's James's first time on the show, so why don't we
It
put a
is.
lot of the attention on James? Let's talk to James a little bit.
You don't have to. Don't worry. I'm just happy to sit here and watch the circus. That's what normally happens is we unleash Joe like an animal from its cage.
Right.
And I just get to sit back and just go, hey, nothing to do with me.
He occasionally has to get out the cattle prod and get me back into the cage, and that's about it. That's about his only responsibility.
Are you like a Mongo, you know, just Mongo back?
I do think that I always say number one item on my job description is Stapes wrangling. I'm the one who's meant to keep him under control, and I don't always succeed.
Has it gone to weaponry? Of any sort?
An elbow once, an elbow
Okay.
in the ribs. I would love to have one of those things, you know, like little mini tasers. Those kind of like just to kind of jab him from time to time. But I'm worried that often leads to kind of certain bodily functions happening, and then that would make an unpleasant environment for me to work in.
And you guys usually work in a pretty tight booth.
We do. We have worked in some very small spaces over the years.
What's it like to be intimate with this guy? I mean, you know, I'm already uncomfortable as close as he is to me.
You get used to it after a while. You get used to the kind of the hirsuteness and the fact that the hair tends to kind of sprawl a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
There it is.
He's unleashed the monster. The beast is wild.
Some women, they like it. Thank you.
You know, Joe, I would think that, you know, spending more time in Europe now, you know, that chest hair would be helpful in getting laid. I'm just, I mean, is it?
You know what's helpful? Being on television. That's really helpful for quote unquote getting laid. Which, by the way, that's rape culture, Mark. I don't look at it like that. I just look to maybe have conscious coupling with someone.
That's legit.
So,
That's legit.
okay.
Well,
Okay.
like Sean Connery, the original James Bond, he was very hairy of chest, and he was very popular with the ladies.
You remember I think it was Nick Weltho pointed out, like, wouldn't it have been great to be a movie star in Sean Connery's era because all you needed to be a sex symbol was not fat.
Yeah, that is very true.
Oh, my God. This is denigrating quickly. But that's all right.
We can get this back on track. We can get this back on track.
No, I didn't intend it to be on track, really.
Oh, fine.
I mean,
in that case, we can stay off the rails.
Yeah.
We can deliver whatever you want.
Well, I will ask you this question, though, guys. It is great to have you back here in the United States doing a broadcast. Were you excited when the opportunity came up to finally come over here and do a PokerStars show?
Absolutely. And it's a really weird one because obviously, we were just on the road in Barcelona for 2 weeks with like a record-breaking European Poker Tour event from which we subsequently got sick, and I apologize for the fact that you are currently being infected, Mark.
A cough geyser going off behind me.
So normally, if someone came to us and said, "Oh, guys, as soon as you finish 2 weeks on the road in Barcelona, do you fancy hopping on another plane and doing another gig?" Generally, we would say no and find a way of kind of getting out of it. But as soon as they said, "You're going back to the USA for the first live stream on PokerStars.tv since Mohegan Sun in 2010," we were like, "Yes,
Done.
We are there," and now we are here, and it's really exciting stuff. It's great to be back.
I got to tell you, Mark, I am so stoked to be doing poker commentary in a country where there's more than 3 drops of water in the toilet. I mean, I pooped into like a 4-gallon bowl this morning, and that went off like a shotgun. In Europe, it's like a little puddle, and you got to aim it, and then like you got to use the toilet brush every single time. It's unreal. It's like a third world country over there. And by third world country, I mean Europe.
Wow.
The country of Europe.
The country of Europe.
It's a big one.
Jesus.
Joe seems to have forgotten, by the way, that tomorrow he gets on a plane and flies back to Europe where he'll be working for the next 12 months.
Well, Joe, you still have a shot at Hoken Stapes. If you need it.
Look, Hoken Stapes is so far. I would have had to fail at so many things before I finally succumb to. You know what? I shouldn't burn this bridge because maybe one day he's going to be on like Clear Channel across the country. I'm gonna be like, hey, Mark, remember me? I was the guy that joked about never wanting to do a radio show with you. Do you think I could be your news guy?
Yeah, I was the guy who trolled you endlessly for year after year, and now I need you. Help me. Help my career, please.
Joe, it's always an open invitation. You know that. No matter what you say, unless you call me an a-hole on Twitter.
I have the same open invitation with Angelina Jolie, Scarlett Johansson, Jessica Biel, so I understand this relationship.
Well, but they have restraining orders on you. I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's great news.
I don't. I like a challenge.
Finally got lucky.
Oh my God! Well, and James, like I said, first time we've had you on the show, and I'm thrilled to have you on.
Thank
man.
you. No, it's awesome, and the whole experience of being back here is great. And I just realized something really weird this morning. Obviously, the last time we were here for a PokerStars event was that Mohegan Sun NAPT, which bizarrely, coincidentally, was the first time we ever worked together. That was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Oh my God! And you didn't run?
Bizarrely, we brought him over to Europe. I mean, I don't know. We just felt some kind of obligation. We felt sorry for him. We took pity on him.
Bizarrely, my first ever American webcast was my last ever American webcast.
This is your fault.
But bizarrely, I did do a few webcasts after that for the World Series of Poker, including the final table of the 2010 main event. And a player at that final table was John Dolan, who coincidentally is at the final table of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open main event today. So clearly, they bring me out whenever John Dolan makes a final table in the U.S.
That's not bad.
Do you mean to tell me that there are other people at this final table besides Dan Coleman?
If you were following social media, you would be surprised to learn that, yes, Dan Coleman is not the only player at the six-handed final table.
So weird.
Some talent at this table, too. I'll tell you what, we were watching this go down yesterday, last couple of days, right in front of me here.
Yeah.
Went from 62 to 18 at the dinner break. I mean, we had one hand after the dinner break ended, and those players just decided, you know what, we're just going to burn this money off, and then end up with a very talented final table yesterday. I mean, it is going to be one hell of a day for you guys, I'm going to tell you.
I mean, understandably, there is a lot of attention on the fact that Dan Coleman's made another final table because he's had such a sick run over the course of the last 6 months. But it shouldn't overshadow the fact that there are 5 other talented players at this final table. It's a pretty stacked final table. It's also a very deep final table, which slightly concerns us because obviously we were covering the Super High Roller yesterday, but we're keeping one eye on the live updates, seeing them play down from 18 to 6. And it's like, oh, they're down to 10. Oh, they're down to 8. Oh, they finished for the day. And it's like, seriously, in that short amount of time? Which means today could be a long one. But if there's one thing we're used to, it's very long final tables with epic heads-up battles. And we love them.
The last last 3 main events we did, none of them finished before 4 o'clock in the morning. I think we had a 5 a.m., a 5 a.m., and a 7 a.m. So we've seen some ridiculous final tables lately. If this takes anything under 13 hours, I'll consider it a short day.
Yeah, there you go. I love working those long shows, too. They're kind of fun.
No. I think you misunderstood us. I don't think we said we loved it in any. I don't think I said I loved it. Did you say love? Did you use the word love?
I did, but sometimes people don't detect the sarcasm.
Aha.
in my
Yeah.
voice.
Oh, you were sarcastic.
No, I mean, obviously, look, I appreciate the fans love it when it is, the more poker they get, the better. And that's what the live streams are about, seeing every single hand.
Both fans love it.
Exactly. From our point of view, what ends up happening is our live streams end up becoming quite surreal.
Yeah.
And once we enter the 3rd or 4th hour of Heads Up, that's when things really kind of get weird.
Mark, in Monaco, we were so out of it that for an entire hour from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., I communicated exclusively with people's pets.
True story.
Sweet mother of God.
And during
it
that
checks
time-
out. Story checks out.
During that time, I think I was collapsed on the floor in a kind of like nervous heat.
Does his commentary make you roll up in a fetal position every once in a while?
No, it actually genuinely makes me laugh. We have an issue when we do our TV shows back in Europe. We have a problem is like the Joe will do a joke, and my reaction is so OTT that we then can't keep it because like I've like blown the audio levels with my laugh, that we then have to go back and do like the fake reaction where it's like which kind of doesn't give him credit.
That sounded like the Count from Sesame Street. You
Yes.
know that, right?
One bad pun, two bad puns. But no,
Thank you,
it's-
James. You're too kind.
No, not at all. I look, as I said, it's now been 4.5 years since that first they first put us together for that event at Mohegan Sun, and I called it the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and I think our partnership has developed since then, and I think, we work really well together, and we have a lot of fun traveling the world, talking about pokers, and having a lot of great experiences away from the commentary booth as well.
Well, I think one thing that when you guys do your commentary that is so important to what stands out is the fun aspect of it, because you watch a WSOP broadcast, you watch a WPT broadcast, and while the guys are having a good time and doing in their voiceovers, I mean, what you guys bring to it is just a sense of anything's going to get said. Anything's going to happen. We're going to have a blast on this. We're covering poker, which can be dull as hell sometimes, but damn it, we're going to make this something that you're going to have a smile on your face by the time it's all over.
And that is our ambition. I think when we started live streaming the EPT, and this was back in 2007, there was this kind of belief, which was probably correct, that live streaming is for the hardcore. It's for the real poker nerds. And what they want is real hardcore analysis from pro players. And what we've tried to do in the last few years is actually broaden the appeal of live poker and bring in the kind of casual viewers who would just normally watch the TV highlight shows and say, do you know what? Seeing every single hand, whether it's cards down or cards up, can be fun because we will try and make this an entertaining experience. And we try and balance it. We appreciate that people want genuine poker analysis. They want the kind of in-depth thought process, but they also want fun. They want competitions. They want chances to win. They want to laugh. They want to join in the conversation. And that's why we obviously have like Twitter running alongside the live stream. And we try to achieve that balance. And I'm really pleased that, we've developed this pretty unique format technically where we can delay the picture with the whole cards up, but then still commentate live in the audience's time, so we can still interact, we can still run our competitions. We're both watching this delayed feed, because when most people delay a stream, the commentators are seeing it live and the commentary is then delayed as well, and that you then lose that connection with the audience, which I think is really important, especially if you're doing like a 12 to 18 hour show.
I'm actually just really grateful that James actually is a producer on the shows now, but everyone at Poker Stars and on the TV production, and James himself, they all get it and they all understand. Like from the very beginning when I started in poker, I was like, we need to make this more fun. We need to make this more entertaining for people so we can hook people. Now poker is awesome once you know what it is. It can be really interesting, even the stuff that some people might find boring, but you have to get people, you can't lose them right in the very beginning. And so I'm super lucky that I get to play to my strengths on the webcast, which is to be fun. Poker analysis is not my strong suit. I think I've gotten a lot better at it over the years and that I'm probably okay at it at times. But really what I want is to entertain people. And luckily, everyone is on board with that. Everyone has the same mission statement. We want to entertain people first.
Without losing sight of the fact that we're talking about a great competition here where someone's going to walk away with a life-changing sum of money. And it's great that we can bring in the guests, the pro players who can do the analysis, especially during Heads Up, where kind of like we can very quickly lose focus and achieve that balance.
Yeah, and I was told that I might get to come into the booth and throw something at you today. Maybe is that a possibility?
I don't know who told you that, but if someone,
I think it was your boss.
if my boss said it's okay, I guess
Okay.
it's fine. I don't really have. What are you gonna throw?
I don't
like
know.
An octopus?
I don't know. If you want to go sushi, I guess I could do that.
If
I was thinking
only if you throw it in my mouth, am I right? Hungry.
I was thinking a nice piece of pizza upside the head might be kind of fun.
Now, Joe has this idea, which has now become a little bit of a joke on the webcast, where he suggests it as a kind of like joke idea that
This
was.
is what I was
never
going to say.
serious.
Everyone's very supportive and gets behind the mission statement of entertainment, except for this one idea.
Yeah. This actually started as a genuine idea, a genuine competition which Joe wanted to run on the live stream. What's in Stapes' mouth? And the idea is that Joe would be commentating with a full mouth, and people had to guess what he actually was chewing on. And everyone just looked at him in disbelief and said, that is the worst idea ever. So now it's just become this bit where he talks about like, what about what's in Stapes' mouth? When are we going to make that reality? Forgetting the fact that he did actually suggest it as a genuine idea and was actually a little bit offended when everyone rejected it.
Are there good drugs
Actually,
in England?
I'm still suggesting it seriously.
Oh.
I still think it would be a great bit for the show. Like, it's an apple. It's a tuna fish sandwich. I mean, come on. It's an audio game. Think about it.
I'm married to someone who actually has a neurosis about listening to people speak with their mouth full. So I kind of have to tune into her sensitive dispositions and say no again.
It
I
wouldn't be a
don't-
full mouth. I would like take a bite out of it. Like I would just take a tuna sandwich and take a bite and chew it up a little and maybe say a couple of words like the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, so that we get all 26 letters of the alphabet.
Yes.
24 or 26. I always forget that one. And then that's it.
I appreciate you're trying to compromise, but it's still a no. There's no meeting in the middle here. It's not going to happen. It will always just remain a bit.
I think you have to go crunchy on that. I don't think like tuna. Tuna
would obviously be for the later stages. You start off with something easy like an apple.
That'll be when you get old and you have dentures. You've got to think ahead on this bit.
Well, look, I'm not. Look, if I was gonna save all my golden stuff from my golden years, I mean, I wouldn't be using anything right now because it's all gold. Let's be honest.
No, true. But the distinguishment between an apple and a carrot, for example, that's
Good.
there's distinct
That's
crunches.
a round one question. Later on, it gets on to softer stuff. Sometimes it won't even be food. Maybe I'm biting a pillow. Who knows?
Yeah, as I said,
Or maybe it's a pillow shoved in your face by somebody.
most likely. When we talk about that balance and making sure that we stay focused on this elite competition and also entertain people, that little kind of balanceometer would be tipping far too much away from the poker.
A little away from the
if we
poker.
allowed you to
Slightly.
stuff
It would be
random items in your mouth while commentating.
slightly away from the poker. I'll give you that.
Thanksgiving would be a good day to do that. If you're ever doing a Thanksgiving broadcast, now that one I could see.
Which we would do in England because, in England they just call Thanksgiving Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're ever on the air on Thanksgiving in the U.S., there I would suggest going for it. Just go for
Well,
it.
again, I will consider your suggestion and ultimately reject it.
Maybe I should. I tell you what. Maybe this whole Stapes and Hoke show is sounding like it. Can we take your name off it altogether? Could it just be the Stapes show with Mark Hoke like that?
How much are you paying me? that would be the question.
Okay, let's talk. Yeah, but I guess what's in Stapes' mouth is going to have to wait for the Hoke and Stapes show.
Okay, fair enough. Wow. What a morning already.
Hey, and this is just the beginning
is
because
exciting.
we've still got like 14 or 15 hours to come. It's like we start at, obviously, I think the final table starts at 1 Eastern. We obviously start an hour later at 2 Eastern because we have that delayed feed because we have to preserve the integrity of the tournament if we've got whole cards up.
No, we don't. To hell with it.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, it's funny because it's something that comes up endlessly, and I totally get the fact that people just want to watch whole cards up coverage.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very strict rule, certainly over in Europe when we're covering the European Poker Tour, that if there's more than one table in the tournament, it's whole cards down.
Yeah.
Because you can't put one table of 8 guys at that disadvantage and have all that information exposed. At least at the final table, when everyone's literally on the same playing field, that it is a level playing field. But even then, you're going to have some guys who'll have like wizards on their rail, seeing the hands an hour later and feeding back. And some guys who don't have that support team. But I guess it is a compromise. It does change the dynamic of a final table, but at least it's not pushing it to the point where the game just becomes ridiculous. And I think that would be the case if you were just doing it live with cards up and people could potentially get that information like within seconds of the hand being played. I
am very surprised that more players don't, when they make a final table, it's live streamed and the whole cards have whole cards, that they don't have a team in place. I watched Dutch Boyd when he won his bracelet this year, and his friends, they had a laptop set up, and every hand running it down, analyzing it, and actually helped Dutch win that bracelet this year. Why don't guys just shell out a few $100 and say, hey, let's go?
Well, first of all, I think it would cost them more than a few $100s to get the right people together, because I think that anyone that's worth having doing that for you is going to know how much it's worth, and they're going to want a lot more than a couple $100. And I think that's the other thing is some people just don't have access to those people. Maybe it'll be worth it just to have someone who will relay just pure information back to you, and someone who who can just say this is what he had on that hand. But as far as like having top level analysts standing by, I don't think it's that easy to come by.
No, for sure. But certainly, we've seen it time and again that people will have someone on their rail feeding back information, whether it's just a simple case of the fact and what a player had in a particular hand, but also whether to change their strategy. Yes, it changes the dynamic, but everyone is able to do that.
Correct.
But granted, there will be players who maybe don't have that support network, don't have those buddies who are top-level poker players, and they are probably going to have to start sort of fishing into their pocket and maybe even giving up a percentage of their action to ensure they get that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also say that I don't know that from the final tables we covered that I could say there's a direct correlation between a team on the rail and the guy winning. Like,
I'd agree.
Satirius Katupas, I'd be shocked to find out if he had a bunch of people on his rail. He won Deauville. The guy that won London, right? Where he finished second, Georgios
Karakoussis, yeah.
Giorgio Karakoussis, obviously had no one.
Look at the difference in that heads-up battle at the EPT Grand Final last season, where Jack Salter had loads of wizards on his rail, loads of them providing information, and then you got the Italian guy, Antonio Buonanno, who had no one. Literally, there's no one in his stand, no one on his rail. He wins it. So, ultimately, that information can only get you so far.
Right. Still got to get it done.
You're still the one at the table. You're the one who's still got to play the game and close it out.
Yeah, and of course, you guys being here now, I'm curious to hear what you think the future is with PokerStars getting back here in the United States, and so many things happening with legislation. I'm sure you guys are. Well, he's probably not following it; he doesn't care. But I'm sure you are.
But
look, according to my sources, we're going to be back in all 50 states by when? Like a week from now?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I fear your sources may be slightly bad.
I think I may have misheard somebody. I may have misheard that. I'm not sure. How many states are there? There's 50 though, right? I have that part right?
That is
50
correct.
states?
50.
Okay,
Yes.
what I meant to say is there are 50 states in the U.S. And I have no other information than that.
Perfect.
Ironically, I can't actually add much more to it. I mean, I just follow the stories in the poker media that you follow, Mark, and I know no more than that. These are things that are well above our level, well above our pay grade. But I think it's fair to say that whenever new markets open up, PokerStars pursues a license, and we look forward to seeing the company expand into new markets around the world, including the USA.
We miss you guys.
We miss being here, but
I
obviously
know.
it's great that we were able to, obviously team up with the Seminole Hard Rock for this event to bring the webcast to audiences around the world, and that's really cool. And I hope that we do more of this in the future.
Two of the biggest things I miss about America, other than the water in the toilet? Chinese food and Mexican people. I just miss. It's like two of the biggest American things that I miss.
Well, hang on a second. Chinese food is not American. It's Chinese. The clue is in the name. Secondly, there are some awesome Chinese restaurants in London.
It's different Chinese, though.
It's
I
actually
miss
decent Chinese.
I
rather
miss
than
American Chinese.
Greasy Chinese.
No, cat Chinese. That's what I miss.
I
Oh,
see.
that's an important factor.
I'm really low in my feline midichlorian count right now. Yeah, and Mexican people. I mean, come on. Nothing. I was in London the other day, and I saw a Mexican guy, and it just made me so homesick for
Did
the
you hug him?
USA. I tried to, but he was driving by, and he might not have been Mexican. I could have just been hallucinating. Other things that make me miss the USA: trucks. If I see a pickup truck, makes me miss America. And you know what? I saw it last week that made me really homesick. A mullet.
Wow.
Saw a guy with a mullet, and I was like, "Oh man, America."
They have no. They don't have mullets over in Britain. Really?
They do, but we generally keep them kind of out of the public vision.
Oh, okay. So they're on a leash too.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. Yeah. And well, Joe, how's the dating life going for you over in England? By the way, I know you tried to bang every girl in America and failed. So how's it going over there?
Well, England was going really well. I went on a date with a girl who I was just absolutely crazy about. Unfortunately, her husband felt the exact same way.
Well, yeah.
So that one didn't go so well.
Can I just come in at this point and say this is not comedy, this is reality.
Okay.
Obviously it's comedic, but it's by no means scripted. This is a real life story.
Okay.
What else? I don't know. It's when I was in my early 20s, I dated someone who was older, and she said you're sex obsessed now, But when you are, in your like early 30s, men hit this thing called andropause, where they just like don't really care anymore. And I'm there. Like, I don't really care. The list of things for me that is like getting like things that are better than sex is slowly growing by the day the older I get. So if like food has already been there.
Okay.
Like food's already better than sex. And now like just like a roller coaster is better than sex. Like a really good movie is better than sex. Most video games. I would even actually, a friend of mine said that she was going to go on a camping trip where there was going to be 6 puppies. Like, I would rather spend the weekend rolling around with 6 puppies than having all but top tier sex. Like, think of like the thought of just like being able to just like rub puppies on my face at this point is so much more interesting than like anything but like top 5% sex.
Some people just call that giving up, Joe.
Yeah, no, I think that that's exactly what it is. Is that I realize there's a huge difference between being single and being a bachelor. Like a bachelor is a lifestyle, and that's what I have right now, and it's sad. It's really sad. Do you know in my apartment, Mark Hoke, that I only have one working light bulb, and it's in the refrigerator?
Wow.
So I just walk from room to room with my iPhone lit up because I have nothing to do. And then if I have to do anything for any period of time, I have to open the refrigerator door and do it in the kitchen. That does not happen when you're not horribly living in a giant pile of sad.
Well, at least you smell okay. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, you tend to take a little longer in the shower also.
Looking at the razor
You know.
blade.
No, my God, jeez. Dude, that got so dark. Oh, my God.
I love the fact that you're hinting at one thing and then you just go down a completely different avenue there.
That escalated quickly.
Thank you.
Although
No,
really, you
God.
should look at the razor blade. The facial hair is kind of like getting out of control.
I think he should do like a body waxing for charity. I would get behind that.
The weird thing is this is, again, true story. When Joe started working in Europe on our TV shows, and obviously at the start of every show, the two of us appear in vision with the kind of like, welcome to whichever event we're at this week. And the producer looking at the rushes, and they're like, I'm not sure about the beard. No, the beard's got to go. It's just, kind of like he's standing there with the suit, the slick back hair, but the beard is wrong. The beard's got to go. Joe's defense, and the only reason why he's been allowed to keep the beard, is because he claims, and obviously we naturally have no visual evidence of this, that without a beard, he, quote, has no chin.
It's true, man. I look like a walrus if I shave this beard. It's ridiculous. It's like, it's a facade. It's like when you go to New York Street on a movie lot and you think you're going to walk into a brownstone, but it's just like the front of a building. That's what this beard is. It's the front of a face. I have no face without it.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah. Hey, by the way, the stand-up comedy, too, I want to throw that. I know you did a couple sets recently. How's that going for you?
Yeah, I've been dabbling in stand-up in London, and I have to say that, like, it's just, it's awesome. Like, I've been having a really good time. And I admit that I'm probably, like, okay at it for a beginner, but being an American in London, it's just like, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. Like, I don't have to be even that funny. I'm just different. Like, I'm already a novelty, and I think that I wouldn't be as well received in America as I am in the UK, especially because, like, everyone ultimately is like an egotistical person, right? And so when I'm in London talking to Londoners about how silly I find London to be, they love it because they're hearing about themselves. They're like, oh, we are like that. Oh, that's so true. And so it's just kind of, I feel like I've got training wheels on right now. And if I was playing to like a real crowd in America, maybe it wouldn't be such a, I wouldn't be doing so well.
Have you seen this fiasco?
I have yet to be invited to one of Joe's stand-up gigs, although I have seen video evidence. And no, I mean, I hear many of Joe's stand-up bits, and I think he's very funny. I don't think you should do yourself down, by the way. He has an award-winning stand-up routine now. Joe actually recently competed in a stand-up contest and walked away with the world's smallest trophy.
Really?
I did get a trophy, but James, it's not the trophy. It's the title, okay? And the title is, I was one of 2 winners for that week in that pub in a competition that runs twice a week, every single week, 52 weeks a year. So, James, not only do I have the world's smallest trophy, but there's like over 50 of them given away every year.
But now has pride of place on your mantelpiece, along with your Pot Limit Omaha trophy from EPT Prague.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Well, I did.
Did everybody forfeit or?
Contrary to popular belief, I didn't actually win the. I know that it's hard to believe, really, but I didn't actually win the Parliament Omar Trophy at EPT Prague.
People are emailing Alex Dreyfus on a weekly basis saying you've got to update the Hendermob database because you're missing Joe Stapleton's PLO victory in Prague.
Basically, Vanessa Selps has won so many tournaments that her wife said, "Do not bring home another one of those bleeping trophies. We got nowhere to put it." So Vanessa was like, do you want this? And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I do.
Wow.
I want a PLO trophy. And so I haven't gotten around to doing it yet, but I want to do like a Vine or something where it's like all the dumb things I'm doing with the trophy, like using it as a doorstop, using it as a hat rack, stirring potatoes with it, like whatever. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yes, so I do have a PLO trophy.
Have you yet taken a lady home and deceived her by saying that trophy is yours?
I haven't, but only because I don't believe in lying. I always say this. I don't believe in lying to get laid. I believe in lying to get out of getting laid. So what I do is, like, that's how I, like, end it. I end it with a lie, but I don't predicate it on a lie. So, no, maybe I could come up with a lie about the trophy to get rid of someone. That's acceptable as far as I'm concerned.
I think you could use it in ways that would probably get the ladies out of the bedroom. I think
Oh,
there's
that's it
ways to
too.
pull that off.
Look, if you want to be with me, you also have to be with my trophy.
Exactly. Joe, I just saved you for one night, guaranteed. At
It's
least
hard and shiny.
you can. Actually, that's a multiple win on that. You know that. I've just helped you. Whenever you use that, you got to text me. And
That's
let me
great.
know.
Now he's going to hold this over my. Hey, remember that time I helped you with that trophy thing?
We'll call it the Hoke defense.
Hey, that's all right. I'll take it. I'll take it.
So this in the Urban Dictionary. If anyone's listening who's in a position to update, the Hoke defense is using a poker trophy to get out of being laid.
Or using it as a marital aid, too, I think he was suggesting.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, second definition.
He likes to take it dark, this guy. You know, last
You've
night,
been talking to my wife, haven't you?
Last night we were playing some Pai Gow here in the lovely Seminole Hard Rock here in Hollywood, Florida, which we love, by the way. And
That sounded really sarcastic. And
it's
actually,
not sarcastic, though. I do
I know,
genuinely
that's
love
why
it
I needed
here.
to leap in because once again you've said something that was genuine but sounds completely disingenuous.
I like to keep them guessing. So we're playing some Pai Gow, and I got to run some of my favorite Pai Gow routines. It really works at any table, and I thought I could share it with your listeners. One thing I love to do is when the dealer loses, just berate them for being a terrible player.
Wow.
So when the dealer has a Pai Gow, I'll be like, "Oh my God, you are the worst. You're so bad at this. How does she even have a job here? Because she lost."
It would be funny if 95% of the dealers actually got the joke. Sadly, the vast majority are just utterly baffled and a little bit saddened.
And they look at you too, and it's just a combination of despair and sadness that
And hatred.
falls
A
over
little
the,
bit of hatred,
yeah.
definitely a little
A
bit
lot
of
of
hatred. A lot of hatred, probably a lot.
Yeah. So, well, be nice to them. Come on, Joe.
And then how did I upset the cocktail waitress? Oh yeah, the cocktail waitress was like, she was kind of like had 1 foot toward our table, 1 foot toward the other one, and she was still taking orders. And she looked over, and I did one of those like to try to talk to her. And she's like, I'll be right with you. And I was like, okay, just because we're so thirsty. And I was just being genuine, like I was just legitimately like I was parched, like just complete like mouth dry, like pace like one of these happening. And I think she took it as me being passive aggressive, and she was like, I have a lot of tables. And I was like, the more I tried to explain it, just the deeper into I got. And so I was like, no, I didn't. I just meant that I'm like actually really thirsty. And she's like, I know. And then she came back about 40 minutes later.
Wow.
I'm glad you brought up Pai Gow, though, Joe, because Mark, you obviously talked to us about how great it is to be back in America. The most exciting thing about working in an American casino again is Pai Gow. Because not being funny, we can play 1-2, no limit, anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We can play blackjack or roulette anywhere in the world, but we don't because we're not schmucks. But Pai Gow is pretty much unique to the US. I don't think we've been in a single European casino which has Pai Gow tables.
Wow, really?
So the novelty value for us of being able to sit and lose slowly is pretty awesome.
Well, how's your Baccarat game
It's
going?
worth it.
Is the Baccarat going all right? I mean, some people have had some pretty good success recently.
I used to, as a huge James Bond fan, I used to think Baccarat was really cool until I just realized that actually it's really boring and I lose. So that's when I switch things up.
Well, you're obviously hanging out with the wrong people, apparently.
Yes.
I mean, Joe, you should be able to edge sort, I would think.
I don't
You're
know
brilliant.
how to do anything with Baccarat. I'm simply confused by the fact, what does the fan blade have to do anything? Like, they're always, like, snapping a blade off a ceiling fan and then using it to move the tiles around.
Paddles.
Yeah. I thought it was, wait, it's a paddle?
I believe they call it the paddle, yeah.
Oh, I thought it came from, like, a ceiling fan.
Also, Baccarat's not right unless they speak French.
Yeah, that seems to make sense. I
It's
agree
all-
with
you
that.
know, all- yeah, it's wheat, it's neuf, banque.
The
Le
French.
jeux sont faits. That's how Baccarat should be played, and everyone should be wearing a tuxedo, and there should
Yeah.
be some kind of Russian dude with an eye patch.
That wouldn't be bad. You know, or the big Asian guy, you know, like.
Look,
now
let's
I'm
not
blanking.
stereotype Russians and Asians, guys. Come on. Seriously.
I'm just painting the James Bond picture. You know?
Cold War,
You guys.
that was a thing.
We're not
Wasn't
we're
just
not
in the
trying to get
movies.
political here, everybody.
No, let's not do that.
The cold. I can't believe you brought up the Cold War. I'm taking this microphone away. Unbelievable. It's only
He did
it's too
it.
soon, James Hardigan. You're in radio jail right
Yeah,
now.
how was that? How was that little broadcast with the T-shirts? How'd that go for you?
It was not a fun day for us.
Obviously,
That's all. It was stressful for us. We have nothing to do with it. Like, we're just calling what's happening on the screen. So it was a stressful day for us to be getting trolled by people on Twitter. You know, it was not fun. That's it.
That's it.
I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah, and I think at the time we kind of thought, well, let's just say that it, which is a fact, that these guys are choosing to express their opinions. These opinions don't reflect those of either PokerStars or the European Poker Tour. I think in retrospect it was clear that maybe we should have just said no, that this is not the right stage, this is not the right platform. Making political statements in a poker tournament isn't right. And now, of course, they've made that announcement that the rules are being changed to stop that happening in the future.
Yeah, I was really feeling for you guys when I saw that, because you know that is such a you know everybody's just trying to have fun with poker, and then all of a sudden now there's something so serious injected into that, and I can only imagine what it did to you guys in the booth and breaking your rhythm a little bit, and you know especially
Honestly,
with social media.
them
coming
wearing
on.
the shirts didn't break my rhythm in the slightest, because they sat at a table where you couldn't even read it for 13 hours, whatever it was. It was people's reaction to it that was a little tough to deal with,
Yeah.
and I can understand why some people would react to it strongly. But to be honest, Mark, I don't know what's so controversial. All they were wearing was shirts that say Free Willy and Save Ferris, which I don't think those are political statements at all. Who doesn't want Willie free? Is there anyone in this room right now that doesn't want Willie to go free?
Let Willie go.
See, it's not a
See,
polarizing
yeah,
topic.
not at all.
And also, Ferris Bueller, beloved.
Yeah.
And unless his sister's in the room right now, I don't think anyone doesn't want to save Ferris. And rant.
Wow. I love you guys. You're awesome. James Hardigan and Joe Stapleton here doing the broadcast today. And, let's real quick preview this final table for
Yes.
everybody, because, this one is going to be something truly exciting. I mean, we have 6 very talented players at this table. It couldn't have worked out any better for you guys to get to call this one with as much talent as we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, a pretty stacked lineup. What's really weird is that Barcelona, there were 1,496 players, each of whom started with a 30,000 chip stack. In this tournament, 1,499 entries, and again, a 30k stack. So a very similar number of chips in play. So you would expect, again, with 90-minute levels on the final day, it to play very similarly. So where it ends, i.e. which blind level it finishes on, you'd expect it to be around the same mark. I did some number crunching this morning.
They're ahead, right?
They are way ahead of Barcelona,
Yeah.
which means that this could really go the distance. So people could be in for a really epic slug. And unless you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I think Mike Lee's coming in as the chip leader, right? He's got
Right.
like 14 million. Dan Coleman's second in chips at 9 million. If Mike Lee just goes on a tear, if he selps the table, then who knows? It could be over in 6 hours. But realistically, no one is ridiculously short. There is still a lot of play in it. We know how quickly things can change, and every other cliche you can drop about No Limit Hold'em. I do think that this, with the sums of money on the line and the jumps that we see in the payout structure, I would not be surprised if we are still talking about this, calling the action in the early hours of Thursday morning.
I'm going to come over and stay with you guys, by the way. I'll be around.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do. Drop
Yeah,
by.
Of course.
Hardigan usually sets up a small little bed area somewhere hidden, so you can go nap in it and keep it warm for him while we wait for it.
Ooh, what do we get paid for that?
What do you get? What do you get paid for napping?
Yeah.
Outrageous! Outrageous! This guy paid for napping.
Yes.
What do you think this is? A government job?
Well, I tried.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What else you got for us?
Well, let me ask you real quick about Martin Hanowski too. Of course, that's probably the one wild card that American players don't know too well, but a very polarizing figure apparently from what a lot of people have been telling me. Tell us a little bit about him.
Do we know anything about him?
I mean, obviously we've seen him on the European circuit a couple of times. The really weird thing is that, like, only a few days ago, probably just a week ago, we were having breakfast at the table next to him.
Oh,
in
him!
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a kid like either playing a game or watching cartoons on an iPad, and rather than wearing headphones, he had the volume up full in a very nice hotel breakfast area, and it's kind of like, it's not the done thing, and it was really annoying and distracting. And we kind of like just caught Martin's eyes for just a second, and he had this look of thunder on his face, and kind of we exchanged that glance like, yeah, this is bang out of order. But whereas we were kind of like, this is inappropriate and someone should say something, Martin's look said, I'm going to kill that child.
Wow.
And that's very much the expression you will see at the poker table today. He has this awesome death stare that when he's in the zone, no one will stand in his way.
I've heard he's an etiquette freak too. That's what some people have been telling me. That he very quickly calls people out for bad table etiquette and things like that.
I mean, that would make sense because he wanted to call that kid out for bad table etiquette.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Whether it's at the breakfast table or at the poker table, he clearly has his strong opinions, and I don't have a problem with that. I think that a lot of people complain that there are now too many rules in poker and that penalties are handed down too quickly, but I think the flip side of that is you have to keep the game in order, especially when there are huge sums of money on the line. And also, let's not forget that one universal truth, it is a game, and as a game, it's something that should be played and enjoyed, and therefore play it in the spirit in which it's intended. So, no, I don't want to see him leap down people's throats, but equally, let's treat everyone with respect, I guess, is his view.
All right. Well, I know you guys have to get back over there, so I want to keep. And you're allowed to stay. I mean, I don't want to.
We can probably do 10 more minutes if you want.
Okay.
If you want us, you got us.
Okay, that's
You're-
cool.
You're officially on the clock.
All right, just making sure I didn't want to have you miss the broadcast or anything crazy
We
like that.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Joe, I'll tell you one thing that's really funny is every time your name comes up in conversations, we still hear "Bring back Huff and Stapes." It's amazing that the impact that Huff and Stapes had on everybody. How much do you miss doing Huff and Stapes?
I miss doing Huff and Stapes more than I've ever missed anything living or dead or otherwise. It actually is very emotional for me. I really feel like we had lightning in a bottle. Like we were really onto something good. The second we started getting any traction whatsoever is when we both sort of advanced in our own solo careers and had to leave it behind. But I'm also just so grateful for people. You know what's weird is that if I can be totally honest, it's kind of annoying when people, every single day I get a request to bring back Huff and Stapes. And I'm mad at myself for being annoyed by that. But if I'm going to be totally honest, it is a little annoying. Just the slightest bit. Because I can't. And I would if I could. And so it's frustrating for me. And I end up like sort of silently raging inside when I can't do it. But if it were up to me, if there were ways to make it happen, I've already told Scott that, I'm not speaking out of school here at all, but of course there are rumors. We are hopefully, fingers crossed. I have no inside information, by the way. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Maybe one day Poker Stars will be in New Jersey, right?
Right.
Hopefully one day. Scott Huff lives in New York City, and I was like, hey, if this happens, I will prep every minute of the show. You will have to do nothing. I will need 5 hours of your time, including travel time, once a week. Can you do this? And, he said that he'd have to think about it, but he was leaning toward yes. And so, we're a million steps from that. We're a million miles away from that. But if stars align, I still hold out hope. Like that one girlfriend that got away that you sort of like broke up with because of circumstances, but you really still love each other. And you're like, maybe one day if we just, if we end up in the same city, we can get back together again. That's kind of how how Scott and I...
he is kind of scuffy.
Because I'm so good at radio, everybody. So good at words. Words are hard. Hopefully, Scott feels the same way. I think he does. And that, again, it's just about the stars aligning. But thank you very much. And thanks to everyone out there who harasses me on a daily basis, asking for the show to come back.
Was that a deliberate pun? Stars aligning?
I don't
yes?
think no, incorrect. Are you jealous now, James?
No, not at all.
No.
Actually, if I can steal the mic from James to answer for James. I got to give this guy a ton of credit, by the way, because he is perfectly happy to, for lack of a better term, let me have the spotlight and to have all the jokes and to be not, I wouldn't say the front man, but just the guy who gets the attention. And there's lots of opportunities James has for more screen time, for jokes, and he always passes them off to me because he likes the role he has and he understands the role I have, and he's a great these blowhard actors talk about this nonsense all the time, but he's so giving. He's such a giving person to work with that I really couldn't be have the sort of public image that I have if he weren't so willing to help me achieve that.
I see this guy need the attention, and I need you got to feed the beast, right? Okay.
I concur.
Happy wife, happy life, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My screen wife.
Oh my God, you guys are incredible. Yeah, I mean, so we're looking forward to seeing you guys on the live stream today. If anybody is been living under a rock for the last 2 years, if they want to watch a broadcast, what do they need to do?
Very simply, pokerstars.tv/live. I mean, if you go to the pokerstars.tv homepage, I think there'll be a banner which you can click on and just watch it. And that's where all our live streams are. Obviously, today it's the final table of the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. But as far as all our European Poker Tour events and everywhere else we go in the world, plus all the TV shows we produce, hours and hours of TV shows. And that's something which I think viewers in America forget about. Obviously, our shows don't air in the US at the moment. Your cousins in Canada, fortunately, are treated to our TV shows, but there's loads of great stuff on there. If you want to catch up with the PCA from the last few years or any of the European events from Barcelona, Monaco, London, all those shows are there as well. But yeah, pokerstars.tv/live, and we're kicking it off at 2 p.m. Eastern.
And of course, if people want to interact with you on social media,
absolutely,
you guys do a great job with that too.
And we really thrive off that. If the audience are enjoying it, if they're interacting, if they're literally just saying I'm watching and tell us where they're watching from, this is great to have that interaction. So yeah, the hashtag will be SHRPO for this particular event, and we'll have that timeline. We'll be following that timeline. What's really awesome is the way people then start following that timeline themselves and then start talking to each other on Twitter. I actually think that we may be close to our first wedding from our audience speaking to each other, because some wonderful friendships have been born of Twitter chats based around our live streams.
Unbelievable. And Joe still can't get a date.
That's not true.
That's not true?
That's not true. I've had many, many, many first dates.
Not a lot. Well, do you get to the second one? That is the
far less often. It's like saying I can make it to the dinner break, but that's about it. I rarely cash.
Oh, that's not bad. Oh, by the way, in my chat box, Casino Examiner is saying purple shirts, LOL.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
We didn't even talk beforehand. We didn't even color coordinate.
James, be honest. If I call that a purple shirt, what would you have said?
I'd say that this is more scarlet than purple. I call this my red wine shirt.
It's never purple. Yeah. It's lilac. It's periwinkle. But it's never purple. God no.
Yeah, we're about on the same.
Slightly different. Fortunately, we don't
close.
clash. I think we kind of complement rather than clash.
I agree.
The danger with this kind of color is you can very easily.
And we got
Danger Zone.
And we got Wolfman Jack in the middle over here.
I am an American werewolf in London. You can often find me drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's. My hair perfect.
I don't.
It's
even
a
know what
song.
to say.
It's okay.
I know
it's
it
one
is.
of the best songs.
I know
of all
it
time.
is.
Don't worry about it.
I just had
read
no
a book,
response.
okay, Mark Hope.
You know,
read a book. Just educate yourself.
Well, when are you writing a book? I'll read yours.
I've actually started putting some stories, some pen to paper. I've been having fun lately.
Oh God.
Telling some old yarns, so it's actually not out of the realm of possibilities.
All right.
If only his memory were reliable.
There are a lot of lies in there.
Of course. Well, guys, I tell you what, I wish you all the best on the broadcast today.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's going to be a great telecast with so much outstanding action and these 6 talented players coming back for this final table today. And it's good to get to you back on American soil. And Joe, I missed you. Honestly, I did.
I missed you too, buddy. That's why I was like, have me on your show. Gosh darn it.
You actually asked before I did.
Yeah, well, because I couldn't believe it, because usually I get like 40 emails leading up to it. Hey, you going to be there? You want to be on the show? And I'm like, let's do it. And then this time, you know what you did? He made me want it.
This time
you played hard to get.
You got down on your knees and said, put me on the show.
And then he dragged you into it, too. He's like, you want Hardigan, too? I was like, well, maybe.
It's a twofer.
Yeah, it worked for me. All right, well, I'll let you get to work, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. Good to meet you.
I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Love the show.
Yep. Thank you, Josephina. All right. We'll see them on the Poker Stars TV broadcast coming up here. What a great time. One of the best color commentary teams in poker, or commentary teams in poker. No question about it. You're going to have fun. And I actually let Joe use the Monster headphones. Can you believe that? No one else has worn these headphones. Not even my wife. So Stapes wins today. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Always a great time with those guys. So, and I tell you, it's such a blast having Joe and having Joe around. One of the great guys in poker, and a guy that I consider a good friend. He's been fantastic. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will take a look at the preview of this final table and some other things going on here at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. So let's step back, take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Poker players, it's time to check out DeegePoker.com. Deej Poker is the unique and clever choice for a new generation of true grinders, representing the full spectrum of poker players from the novice to the world champion. A true Deej player gives their heart and soul for countless hours at the table to be the best. And Deej Poker Apparel shows everyone who you really are, on and off the feld. So join the new generation at DeegePoker.com. That's DEEG Poker.com. Deej Poker, the world's newest poker apparel store.
I'm Dutch Boyd, two-time WSOP bracelet winner, and I want to share my story with you. 12 years as a pro has taught me a lot. For the last year, I've boiled it all down into a tell-all book, 90,000 words. In Poker Tilt, I take you on my journey through all the ups and downs that poker has to offer, all the manic highs and hellish lows of every bad beat and lucky draw. So go to www.pokertilt.com to read more, or just go buy the new book on Amazon or Kindle. Right now, pokertilt.com. I guarantee you'll enjoy the ride.
Your business and promotion will only go as far as your website will take you. That's why the Mark Hoke Show has only trusted one name for over 2 years, BlueRail.net. Whether you need custom website design and development packages, or simply need a host for your website, Blue Rail is the only developer to turn to. It's time to discover the world-class personalized service only the Blue Rail team can provide. Visit us at BlueRail.net and call 520-822-5128 right now for your free consultation today. So get on board at BlueRail.net. How far do you want to go?
Sports bettors, tired of getting beat every week at your sportsbook? It's time to stop guessing and start winning. We all know cash is king, and it's time to let the team at Double Digit Covers come to the rescue to help you get the positive cash flow you need to live the life you've always dreamed about. Tony Dos and his all-star sports handicapping team will be in your corner to help you beat the point spread, bring excitement and winning to your betting experience, and build your bankroll to levels you never thought possible. Get free winning sports information at DoubleDigitCovers.com. Stop guessing and start winning today at DoubleDigitCovers.com.
Call now for today's free winner. 1-855-489-2700. That's 1-855-489-2700.
One man, his lucky shirt, an unforgettable night, and a winning streak that never seemed to end. That's how Blind Squirrel began, and we haven't looked back since. We make the clothes that we want to wear for the places where we want to look and feel our best. The game, the speakeasy, and the casino floor. Blind Squirrel's small batch, high-quality gear is for people too busy grabbing life by the nuts to bother with crappy, ill-fitting clothing. Because like you, we prefer our nights long, our drinks strong, and our lucky shirt to be our most comfortable. So look good, be lucky, and visit BlindSquirrelApparel.com for your new favorite shirt. As an added bonus, you'll receive 20% off your purchase with the promo code HOKE, H-O-K-E. You can also pick up Blind Squirrel apparel at the Borgata in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas at all Masura stores at Mandalay Bay, Monte Carlo, The Mirage, and MGM Grand. Look good and be lucky with Blind Squirrel Apparel.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Then follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show and like our Facebook page at The Mark Hoke Show for show news and outstanding poker content from around the world. Plus, enjoy the show anytime by subscribing to our podcasts on iTunes or at markhokeshow.podbean.com. We're even on your mobile phone at markhokeshow.podbean.com/mobile. Thanks for listening and being a part of The Mark Hoke Show.
Now, let's return to the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, and we are back here on the Mark Hoke Show. Yeah, it was the Stapes and Hardigan show for a while, but very glad to have them on. Of course, you can catch them on PokerStars.tv. Broadcast starting at 2:00 Eastern Time, and they're going to be covering the main event of this final table. The Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open 2014. Winner walks out $1.4 million, and that'll buy you a lot of soda bottle water, cocktail coffee, banana, as they like to say around here. Should be something cool. Let's take a look at that final table, and then we're going to go back and take a look at what happened in the high roller yesterday. Our final table, Blake Bond bubbles the TV table, excuse me. But here are your 6 players that are going to be coming back. Mike Leah, Go Lease Go A is your chip leader, $15,455,000. He will be followed by Dan Coleman, who's, of course, runner-up EPT Barcelona high roller, 1-drop champion, and now has another chance to have a huge score here today as he will be trying to chase down Mike Leah. Of course, 2 outstanding online players there as well, so it should be a nice clash. Along with Joe Kuether. Kuether, we see the name all the time. Joe is one of the great up-and-coming live players, another online wizard, and now is trying to bring down that first major title for Joe. So we'll see if Joe can come back with his 7,090,000 chip stack and get the job done there. Martin Hanowski, the German, who we talked about a little bit on the show, looking to try and bring home this title. Of course, coming in at 5,210,000 chips. And then next is Sean Kunix, a former WPT Best Bet Jacksonville champion. Kunix at 4,870,000. One of the more excitable and fun guys you're going to see on a poker table. So we'll see if Sean can make the run back. And then, of course, former November 9er John Dolan, who had led this tournament going into yesterday, took some hits. He is down to 2,045,000. But I don't think that there's anybody in this field that you would look at this tomorrow and say, oh, they won. I can't believe that. I mean, there are 6 very, very good players on this final table. It should make for some intense action for sure. Some of the other eliminations that took place yesterday, Natasha Barber finishing 12th. She picks up nearly $100,000. Kirk Kohlberg, a guy amateur who was trying to make that dream come true, and we saw him hyperventilating the day before. He finishes 11th. Lenny Dudavani, finishing in 10th place, 99,775. Roman Bauerstein, great young player. He finishes 9th for 149,663. Brian Hawkins finishing 8th, $199,550. And, of course, Blake Bond continues to make noise as he ends up finishing in 7th on this one. And he got eliminated by Mike Leah and picks up about $250,000 for his efforts. So it should be an outstanding final table today here at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. And like the guy said, if you want to help him out on the broadcast and say hi, hashtag SHRPO, at SHRPO on Twitter. And you can get in there and have a good time talking to the guys on the broadcast. All right. And, of course, high roller yesterday won by Jacob Schindler. Schindler taking that one down as he wins the high roller for around $500,000. It was, of course, a very interesting event with the payout change and all sorts of heavy discussions going on. And I can tell you, I was in the room yesterday when the tournament was getting started, and it was there were some fireworks, to say the least. It was really a crazy scene in there to open the tournament up. But to the Seminole Hard Rock's credit, and they got destroyed on social media, especially very unnecessarily, I think, by some of the players. Dumped in another $50,000 into the third place prize, just out of the blue, to say, all right, guys, here you go. And, basically making up for the rake in the tournament. Well, way more than the rake in this tournament. And, so a big gesture by the Seminole Hard Rock. So I got to say this, that for everybody that was banging on the Hard Rock, missing, with the overlay situation and that, the Hard Rock shelled out another $2.5 million to meet the guarantee that they'd made. And they shelled out another $50,000 in the high roller to make up for, whatever error in communication or what, who Lord only knows exactly what happened on that. But you have to give them credit for doing what they're supposed to do and treating the poker community right. And I sure hope that got to take a logo off the air. I do really hope that everyone has a clear understanding of what this facility is all about. They have done an outstanding job running events for this 2.5-week series. We've seen so many great players in here, a ton of awesome action, and and very well run tournaments. And certainly no one complained about the main event. Did we have less entries? Yeah, but it was still a great tourney, and we're going to be seeing that wrapping up here today, here at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. Of course, once again, you can tune in on the broadcast live, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, here on PokerStars.tv. Felix, what's up, brother? Let's get one of the members of the blog team here. Felix Mock, who was covering the high roller yesterday. Those 5 players shooting it out. First thing I want to ask you is, you were there watching the beginning before that thing happened. What was going on in that room? Because it was quite the scene.
I don't know if I want to go into detail as far as what was going on before they went on air. But yeah, there was heated discussions going on about us. Discrepancies and stuff, but as far as I know, everything was rectified and everything was fixed to the players' content, and everything was resolved. And I put it in the blog as well. The guy that won it, he was just so he was very happy with the outcome, and he was very complimentary of the staff. So I forgot his name. I'm so tired. Jacob Schindler, yeah. He was saying that the management was top notch, and they did a very good job as far as listening to the players and adding money to the prize pool, and everything was fixed. He said everything was great.
Yeah,
so
and
at the end.
Yeah, and talking about the play on the table, of course, interesting that Seaver finished up third. I know there was a lot of social media buzz about that all the complaining Scott did. He ended up finishing in third place.
He ended up finishing third, yeah. And originally, I guess he was against having a third place, but he ended up finishing third. So
yeah, it worked out all right for him, didn't it?
Yeah.
I know that and it was a shame that whole thing whole thing happened.
Definitely blew out of proportion, I think. But what can you do? Things happen, and you have to deal with it. So
yeah. So how was the poker?
Poker was long. It went on way longer than anybody anticipated. There were 5 players left. Started around 2 o'clock, and it didn't end until 10:30. So heads up play alone was 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
That was great. Yeah. Especially sitting in the dark upstairs and trying to see everything that was going on. It was a treat. But
well, and it's always fun for guys like us when we get to cover an event like that. While it does drag out, we learn a lot from that, don't we? I mean, it's pretty cool to get to see
all the hands, and then you see some of the whole cards and how they played certain hands. It definitely puts some insight into the game and what goes on in the mind of these high rollers. $100,000 into a tournament. Obviously, they're serious players. So not everybody has $100,000 lying around just to throw into a tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a rough start to that tournament, but a great finish. And, of course, we've got it all on SeminoleHardRockPokerOpen.com or SHRPO.com.
Yeah.
I understand we're having a little issues with the website, but
they're working on it.
I would imagine it'll be back up very shortly as we cover that final the final table. Plus, we do have one more event getting played here at the Seminole Hard Rock. So I'm sure that'll be getting covered as well. I guess that's falling in your lap today.
Yeah, I'll be covering this one for now. Yeah, I'd like to be over there at Paradise Live covering the main event, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a packed powerhouse final table they have going on there. That should be exciting.
Yeah, going to be a great day to wrap up the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open Series. It has been an incredible experience, to say the least. You know, my first time down here. You've been down before, though, haven't you?
I've been down here before in April for their other series,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one is definitely a big one. I would love to be here again.
Yeah, so next time around, make sure you get your butts down here, because this is the place to be. It's going to be, and it should be a lot of fun, because I know they're still planning on doing a $10 million guarantee next year, so we could have another wild week for sure. So it's going to be great.
Another exciting one, yeah.
All right.
Next year.
Well, make sure you guys, and if you want to tweet into anything happening over here, we're all watching it at SHRPO on Twitter, hashtag SHRPO. Check out all the work on the website. This man's going to have a few posts up there as the day goes along.
And if anybody's in the area, come down and play this $200 buy-in. It's
Yeah.
the last chance at some decent money
Yeah, no doubt. So
and some hardware.
Yeah.
SHRPO trophy.
I heard you were
Nice.
just tearing up the cash games. That's what I've heard, by the way. Is that true?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Trying to get my feet wet. Nothing like what these guys in the final table are playing for, but, every little bit helps.
No. Yeah, you bet. You bet. Well, Felix, I'll let you get back to work. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, thank
A
you.
pleasure working with you these
too,
last
buddy.
couple of weeks. Even though that Mets hat, not so much. At least it's not a Yankees hat. It's not a Yankees hat. But, wow. So, there you go. Felix stopping by talking about the high roller that happened yesterday. And like I said, just one event on the calendar, or on this Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open calendar, with to wrap this series up. And of course, main event coming up here. That'll be on PokerStars.tv in about an hour. So make sure you're tuned in for that. Once again, give me 1 second. Yeah, Jake in the chat box, saying so many places have just said screw our promises. Partouche, yeah, that was kind of a big one, being notable. And while I have gripes, they have done many honorable things, and they have here. I think that one thing that obviously the overlay was a huge story. This whatever it was with the high roller and the one spot dispute, you have to look at it and as a whole say, what did the Seminole how did the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open team respond to this? They honored their guarantee of $2.5 million that came out of the casino's pocket, just got injected into the poker community. They did the right thing. They, adding a $50,000 into the high roller to help settle that dispute. They did the right thing, and that really should tell you something about of course, Seminole. The Seminole Hard Rock brand does have other casinos down here, and in fact, we have another tournament series coming up in Coconut Creek later on this month. And if you want to play at a place where things are generally very well run, and they honor what they do to the players and they listen to the players, you're not going to beat this place. It has been something really special. Now, and so as for calling it a day here, we're going to do that because I want to get over to Paradise Live to watch the live stream. But we do have one more show coming up. Of course, we're going to be on KLAV 12:30 a.m. today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific for our show there. Just going to be one around. I'm not sure who we're going to have on the show yet, but I will, as soon as we know, we'll get that up on social media, because we really do want to try and get some of the players from here, maybe anybody in the main event, to join us for that show. So but just tune in, and it could just end up being a raucous discussion too. But we have certainly had an amazing time here at the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. Want to thank Ray Stefanelli and the team for treating us so well, as Ray always does when I come out on these trips with him, and working with them. And I thank working with the blog team. They've been great fantastic to work with. Plus, of course, I've been helpful hopping in here. Alan Keeleen and Felix and Ryan earlier in the series. That's just and of course the tournament director staff have been so nice. The dealers, the the servers, the massage girls, everybody has just been top notch here. And if you are really looking for an outstanding poker experience, man, come down here to the Seminole Hard Rock Hollywood, Florida, or any of the Seminole Hard Rock properties. You're going to get exactly what you want. And, is proud to be a part of it in here. And, I think we're pretty much going to leave it at that. So, once again, guys, don't forget, tune in at PokerStars.tv starting at 2 p.m. We will have our show on KLAV 1230 and KLAV 1230 a.m. at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific later on tonight. And that is going to wrap it up. So, I want to thank everybody at Seminole Hard Rock for having us down here. And we will see you guys later on tonight on KLAV 1230 a.m. Thank you for joining us.